do.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Crossover Talk Show with your host, Travis Garrison, where we talking sports and life. Here, our main thing is we want to give people a platform, organizations, companies that's doing something positive in the community that's helping the youth. Here, got a very special guest with us today, Mr. Stephon Smallwood of the Building Blocks Mentoring Program. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing, good sir?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. I'm honored to have you on the show with me today. You know, to talk about the amazing things that you do in the community. I've been following you for a while now, and man, you're doing some amazing things. And I mean, you definitely got to tell us all about all the great things that you're doing in the community and why. So, the Building Blocks Mentoring Program. How did it
hmm
start? Why did you start it?
Um, it started back in 2009, and actually it started before then. To be honest, being from Washington D.C. and being a part of Chocolate City back then, and just being a young teenager, youngster, used to get into a lot of troubles at an early age. And then when my moms and pops separated, they moved to New Orleans and then Memphis, and got in troubles with the laws, and just having those bad influences or having people I looked up to that wasn't doing the proper things in life, but it was fun and attractive, obviously. And my mother, always used to tell me, I'll ground you from a payphone. Cell phones wasn't there back then.
Right.
And I came home one day at my grandmother's house, and she was sitting on the front porch, and I already knew that meant it was time to go. So from DC to coming to Memphis, Tennessee, ninth, 10th grade, ninth grade, um, used to get in trouble, got locked up 3 times. I got like 6 or 7 Bibles in 1 year as gifts, as Christmas gifts, as just a token to get your life together. Um, and then once I graduated high school through summer school, played ball, played sports, and graduated high school and summer school, I told my wife and my moms that I wanted to give back, to young men and young women so they wouldn't make the same pitfalls that I did. And I had it, I was just doing the opposite. So 2009 to where we are, Building Blocks Mentoring Program. We empower youth through academics, athletics, and job readiness skills. We're working. It's never a dull moment in a good way, in a positive way, but we just always want to give back and have those young people strive for greatness.
Right, absolutely, and that's an amazing thing because, like you said, you could have been in a situation where you had your downfalls and then just like left it alone, but instead you took the downfalls and basically turned it into a positive in a sense. That's what I tell people
Yep.
all the time. The adversity that I've been through or other people go through, we overcome them. So then once
hmm
we overcome them, what do we have to do? What we should be doing is going back and helping other young kids and other young people, other people in general, to basically not make the same mistakes that we made. Because
Right.
we know, the pain it caused not just us, but those who connected to us. You know,
Correct.
I definitely preach that in the sense of don't think about how your actions can affect just you, but think about how it can affect other people. So
Yeah.
and like I said, you're doing amazing things in the sense of you took that and you say, you know what, I'm gonna take this, all the lessons that I've learned, and I'm going to go ahead and help these other young people not make the same mistakes. So where are y'all? Where are you located? Because you say you're in Memphis right now, correct?
I'm in Memphis currently. T-Mobile is one of our biggest supporters and sponsors. So we operate in Memphis, obviously, Nashville, Tennessee, which is maybe 2.5, 3 hours away. Operate in Atlanta, Georgia, Fayetteville, Arkansas, Bartlesville, Oklahoma, Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Um, we did DC, Maryland, Virginia, and then also in the Jacksonville, Florida area as well. So we all over the place, if you can say that. And things may change a little bit, and we start, moving to other markets. But we put our flag in those cities. We're helping schools. We're helping communities. We actually support and help colleges and universities as well. So we're working for sure.
And real quick, because I know it don't happen overnight in the sense of
hmm
everything that you're doing, the partnerships that you have. Did you have when you first started? Was there any um hurdles that you had to cross because of your past in order for it like to do what you are passionate about, did it cause, like, was it like, a stressful situation? Like, was it like, it took time, it took a lot of work? Like, what was that process like for you?
Yeah, it was a booger bear, to be honest, because back in 2007, 2008, even getting this going, not having the finances nor the resources of starting a nonprofit organization, I had to figure it out by myself. I didn't have a mentor or someone to reach out to say, hey, I want to do X, Y, Z. Can you guide me or walk me through this? I had to figure it out. So started the nonprofit, paperwork and everything from my kitchen table. And then again, the rigorous as far as the time, the effort, the energy, staying up all night, getting up early, taking time away from my wife and kids that caused a strain on a marriage and the early going because I thought I could do it myself. I really didn't trust anyone. I didn't think my wife would understand what I'm doing. But clearly she did. I just had to, put my pride to the side and just say, hey, this is what I'm doing and why I'm doing it instead of just assuming. So it was very, very stressful at the beginning, pitfalls, thinking one thing is going to work out and it didn't, or thinking one thing was going to work out on the other end and it did not. So it was just a lot of just rain, rain, rain. But when those clouds went away, now the sun is shining. But a lot of work went into this for sure. And I couldn't have done it, without people now that see the vision, that saw the vision, and we're running, we're rocking, and I can't thank those people enough. But again, at the beginning, it was very rocky, that's for sure.
But you still test the times, and you getting, look how it's paying off, and not just for your company, your organization, but like all the people that you're touching, all these kids, communities, families. Like you do, like I said, because you're doing a lot, but because you, like I said, you could have gave up when you was going through those struggles and you was trying to get on, but you seen you had a vision, and God put something on your heart to do, and that was, and it paid off. It paid off. And I know you mentioned about you couldn't do it by yourself. A lot of people think that you can do that. I mean, anything that's great, that's called, you can't do it by yourself. You got to have people, and then like you said, it's about people that you can trust, that you can trust with your vision, and to be able to. A lot of time, people are not going to have the same exact vision or passion as you do, but at least they can be passionate about working for your cause in a sense.
Right.
So who are some of the partners that you have helping you?
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to say my wife first and foremost, because I may have the vision, but I disappear and start doing other things. And she's the one that's the operations behind it from A to Z. People call her, text her, email her, or she calling me. You got this person calling me and where you at? Blah, blah, blah. And then she freaking out a little bit. So first and foremost, definitely her, that I run an idea through her. And it's like, okay, that wouldn't work. Or what do you think about this? Oh, okay, I didn't think about that. Our board, for them to give us the freedom to do what I do best. And then obviously they have my trust and vice versa. I have their trust. So, and then Tierre Wright in DC, met him through social media, not just playing around, but we actually connected some years ago when he was working with an AAU organization. And I just wanted to be a part just to give back to my city. And our conversation stayed legit, and we stayed in constant communication. Hey, what's up? What's going on, champ? And next thing you know, from maybe 6 years ago to where we are now, and I can sleep good at night knowing that T's are crossed, I's are dotted. He has the best interest, not just in the program, but in me, and vice versa.
Wow, man, that's amazing, man. But like you said, you got to bring the right people on that's just as passionate, that get the job done, and you're doing that, and your organization is continuing to grow. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back and talk to Mr. Stephon Smallwood of Building Blocks Mentoring Program. This is the Crossover Talk Show. We're talking sports and life. Be back soon.
If you have something to say pertaining to sports, entertainment, business news and politics, health and wellness, or gospel, and want the world to watch you say it, there is no better place than WBGR Network to make that happen. With our state-of-the-art studios and our technically trained staff, WBGR gives you the quality and safety you need to perfect your media goals. Call us today at 301-429-9247. WBGR, where you go, we follow.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Crossover Talk Show where we're talking sports and life. We have Mr. Stephon Smallwood of the Building Blocks Mentoring Program doing great things in the community. So let's continue. We was talking about, the Building Blocks Mentoring Program and all the great things that you're doing. Now, I know that, you're beginning to grow and you just started a sports group, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
So how did that, what made you want to go that route and how's it been going? And can you tell us a little bit more about it?
No, definitely. I'm a sports guy by nature. Again, being from DC, living in Memphis, I don't forget where I come from, but I definitely don't forget where I am. And playing Little League football with the Blitz, I don't know if that rings a bell, right there at Banneker High School across from Howard. Played football, played soccer, played baseball, and just sports by nature. When I moved to Memphis, a different climate as far as football is concerned, from the East Coast to the South. And just to fast forward, sports is a part of life. And everything you do in the sport is going to translate to life somehow in some shape, form, or fashion. So I'm a big fan of a lot of people in the sports industry, let alone a particular sports agent. I won't say his name. Well, I say his name. Um, Rich Paul, a big fan of his. I'm not the biggest guy like him. I'm not the fastest guy, but I'm skilled and I know how to read. I know how to write. I know how to listen. And by him being just who he is, like, you know what? We can do the same thing and impact student athlete lives on a collegiate level once the NIL situation had passed by law. So, with the Building Block Sports Group, keep the branding name, obviously, and we support student athletes at different colleges. Right now, we have four in basketball, no, two football, one track, and one female basketball. And I love every moment of it because it's not about a money or a revenue builder for us on our end. It's more so about giving those student athletes that's not a 5 star or don't go to a PWI. It's about giving those student athletes the opportunity and a chance to be marketable, to have self esteem, to have confidence, and to say, hey, I may not be this student athlete, I may not be at this college, but guess what? Someone see me and I want to take advantage of the opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's huge. And obviously we didn't have no NIL deals when I was when I was in school.
we
And
we did, but it wasn't legal.
it was exactly, it was not legal, man. It was not legal. And I'm like, dang, I'm hearing all these stories about, these different opportunities, which is a blessing, and it's long overdue. Because like you
Right,
said, we have all these schools that's making all these monies on the back of us, and they saying, well, you got a free scholarship. That's your payoff. Whereas, they're making millions of dollars off the backs of these kids, because if these kids didn't go there, then where would the university
right,
be? You know what I mean? So
right,
that's
right.
huge what you're doing. And I know that you're so having that sports group and with the new NIL because it's still kind of new. The NIL there's only been out
Mm-hmm.
around a couple of years now.
Yeah, maybe a year and a half, pushing it too. Yeah,
So yeah, so it literally just started. And what I think you're doing also with that is a group because now like you're still doing the mentoring program, but you're giving kids an opportunity that may not have gotten the opportunity. Can you tell us a little bit about that, about why you wanted to go that route in regards to supporting those who may not normally get the NIL deals or who probably was overlooked for whatever reasons they are?
no, definitely. And the first thing I want to say is that most NIL deals or most students that's being marketed with these companies, they get some type of return of investment or they get some type of percentage of what they're doing. We're not getting a penny. We're not getting a half of a penny. We're not getting anything. Everything is geared and based towards those student athletes. So I want to say that first and foremost, to where actually we're actually in the vicinity now of giving the student athletes a percentage of the company. So that way, once they do graduate, then not only did they use their name, image, and likeness while they was in school, but they also can have something to lean back on. And that way they have some ownership, and that way we can get their input when they was a student athlete, and they can say, "Hey, this work, that work, so on and so forth," and it's theirs. It's not something just temporary. But to answer your question, just again, like Mr. Johnson down in Millsap, Brown Shaw, at Lamar College here in Memphis at HBCU. Miss Stevens that runs track at Austin P, and then Mr. George that plays football for Tennessee State here in Tennessee at HBCU as well. Again, these student athletes are at schools that's not considered a PWI, where it's a Power White Institute, and they have all of these thousands of student athletes, or they probably wasn't heavily recruited across the country to go wherever they wanted to go. They went to where it fit them and their family as far as their academics and their athletic skill set. And guess what? For those 4 young people, the sky is the limit. Just because you're not a 5-star athlete doesn't mean that you're not talented. They're doing their thing in college, in the classroom, in the community, and on the court or on the track and field or on the football field. So again, it's for those student athletes to say, you know what? I know his parents or her parents. I know this individual. I know they have high characters, and we want to ensure that we instill in them, and we want to ensure that you're not forgotten. Just because you go to this particular school doesn't mean you can be overlooked. Somebody may be on your team that may have a $5 million endorsement deal. Well, guess what? You don't have to be overshadowed by them. You can get the same opportunity just like that kid.
Right, absolutely. And man, that is amazing. You know, it's what you're doing is unheard of. There no other company is doing what you're doing in regards to the kids have ownership of these deals, and they basically have a say. A lot of times these kids are signed as big money contracts. They don't own a percentage of that. They get their money, but you know the companies make their money off their backs. But that's it.
Correct.
And after it's done, it's done. But you're going a whole different route, and man, it's gonna pay off a lot when it comes to these kids and their futures. And it's just you're changing the game, man. I ain't gonna lie.
I wouldn't say that, but it's never about me. It's always about we. And again, just giving them a percentage and say, hey, Travis, hey, we have you, but we want to give you a percentage of Building Block Sports Group. That's yours. You know what I mean? You work for it, right?
Absolutely.
So why work for a paycheck when you can have leverage and you can get a percentage of the company? And I don't want to throw us off a little bit, but my son had put me on the HBO series, The Rise and Winning of the Lakers or something like that.
Yeah, right.
And it's amazing how Magic Johnson was approached by Phil Knight. And hey, I give you $1 per shoe, and like 18, our stock is like 18 cents a share or something like that. But I can tell you on the back end how much money you can make. And he took the money up front, 90,000 or 100,000, something like that.
Adidas.
And now Nike at the time where he could have got to where $5 billion and ownership in the company. So it's like just having information like that we wasn't given back then to where we are now. We need to pass it along. So everything is not about the upfront dollar. It's about on the back end. So if we can get these kids an opportunity to say, you know what, I probably can't give you a $10, $20, $30, $40,000 NIL deal, but I can give you ownership. Then what? Then you have leverage. Not even when I'm gone, you have leverage on paper that you have a say so in this. You have this is part yours. you know?
Right. Absolutely. Hey, we got to touch on that more when we come back. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Got Stephon Smallwood, Building Blocks Mentoring Program, talking some great stuff. Please stay tuned. Be back in a second. I definitely appreciate your time and you joining the Crossover Talk Show with Travis Garrison. We talking sports and life. Mr. Stephon Smallwood doing great things with Building Blocks Mentoring Program. Definitely appreciate you. If you're a student athlete and you want to come on the show, or you know a student athlete that needs to be noticed or highlighted, definitely visit the Crossover Talk Show at gmail.com and go to the website, thecrossovertalkshow.com.